Jaya Gopi Janavallabha, Jaya Girivaradhare, Jaya Girivaradhare. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribo, oh Haribo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivracharya Asatasara Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivracharya Asatasara Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radharadhanath ki jai. Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhana ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna dear devotees, welcome. So today we are reading from Chaitanya Charitamrta, Adi Lila 1, text 56. Etavad eva jigyasam tattva jigyasanu atmana anvayavyatirakavyam yatsyat sarvatra sarvadha. So you can repeat. Eva tad eva jigyasam. Eva tad eva jigyasam. Tattva jigyasu sunatmanaha. Tattva jigyasu natma atmanaha. E anvayad vyaktirakabhyayam. Anvayavyatirikabhyam yatsya sarvatra sarvadha. So we'll do the word for word. Etavad, up to this. Eva, certainly. Jigyasyam, to be inquired about. Tattva, of the absolute truth. Jigyasuna, by the student. Atmanaha, of the self. Anvaya, directly. Vyaktirekabhyam, and indirectly. Yat, whatever. Syat, it may be. Sarvatra, everywhere. Sarvadha, always. Translation. A person interested in transcendental knowledge must therefore always, directly and indirectly, inquire about it to know the all-pervading truth. You may repeat. A person interested in transcendental knowledge must therefore always, directly and indirectly, inquire about it to know, inquire about it to know the all-pervading truth. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Those who are serious about the knowledge of the transcendental world, which is far beyond the material cosmic creation, must approach a bona fide spiritual master to learn the science both directly and indirectly. One must learn the means to approach the desired destination and the habits of the and the hindrances to such progress. The spiritual master who knows how to regulate the habits of the neophyte disciple, and therefore a serious student must learn the science in all its aspects from him. So, as we are reading and going along, we'll just comment as we're going along. So, this point about the spiritual master and how we should surrender unto the spiritual master in order to gain spiritual knowledge about the absolute truth. It's there in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadakshanti te jnanam jnani tadva darshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him, and the self-realized soul shall impart knowledge unto you because they have realized the truth, or they have seen the truth. So, in all fields of knowledge, if we want to, gain any knowledge, whether it be about military, about, being a doctor, we have to go to the relevant authorities for this knowledge. So why not spiritual knowledge? For spiritual knowledge, which is the, basically, the inherent nature of the soul is to understand that, we are spirit souls and to be part and parcel of God. So that is the most important knowledge. And so for this most important knowledge, we need to surrender unto the spiritual master. So, and Prabhupada says here, the bona fide spiritual master. So, what is bona fide, right? So, bona fide means that which knowledge is coming from authority, and it's not bogus, right? It's coming in line of disciplic succession. And we find that we have 4 sampradayas that actually relate to this, and which can actually give us this transcendental knowledge, right? We are following the Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya, right? And there's other sampradayas that is authoritative, and that is the Sri Sampradaya, the Rudra Sampradaya, the Kumara Sampradaya. So these 4 sampradayas give you transcendental knowledge. So one should follow either of these sampradayas, in order to gain spiritual knowledge. So in this way, when we should actually surrender unto the spiritual master, and in order to access this knowledge. So there's a pastime in the Mahabharata where Karna, he wanted to gain more knowledge about military art, and he approached different teachers, and he approached Dronacharya, and Dronacharya basically refused to teach him. Because why? Because it was said that he was born of a Sudra, but actually he was a Kshatriya, right? In that, the story goes that Mother Kunti, her firstborn was Karna, and at that time she did not know what to do because she wasn't married at that stage. So she put him in a basket and she let him go. She sailed him through, and he was picked up by a fisherman, and he was brought up by this community, right? Basically, it's likened to a Sudra. And in this way, Dronacharya, when he was approached by Karna, he did not want to teach him the science of military art because he wasn't a Kshatriya. So in this way, Karna approached Parashuram. So there's one thing we should understand, that we cannot cheat the spiritual master, in that somehow or the other, Krishna will reveal, our faults like this to the spiritual master. So we should not, and anyway, in any sphere of our lives in Krishna consciousness, we should always be truthful and not be, refrain from the cheating propensity that all of us do have, right? Because we all are defective and we have these cheating propensities. So Karna then, because Parashuram was only teaching Brahmanas, and he would not teach Kshatriyas, right? So Karna went up to Parashuram and asked him for this knowledge, for military training, basically. So then Parashuram, he, by all means, with his whole heart, he gave this knowledge to Karna. But it so happened that one day Parashuram was lying down and his head was on the feet of Karna, and then an insect came and it bit into the leg of Karna. But Karna was so determined not to awake his spiritual master that he bared this pain. And when he bared this pain, the blood started to ooze, and Parashuram got up and he saw the blood all over, and then he was wondering what happened, and then he realized that only a Kshatriya was able to actually tolerate such a pain. And in this way, Karna's true nature was revealed, and or his true identity was revealed, that he was a Kshatriya. So in this way, Parashuram, he cursed, or he told Karna that, please go away from here, because I thought you were a Brahmana and you're a Kshatriya. So, whenever you need this knowledge, in the time of your need, you will actually, not remember this knowledge. So in this way, the battle ensued, and Karna basically, he lost this knowledge, right? And that's how he was defeated on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So this is the point, that I was making, that we should not cheat the spiritual master, and we should inquire from him and learn from him submissively, like this. So in this way, we find that also Smita Krishna Prabhu, he was talking on Friday about Lord Shiva being an authority, and how, what makes him this authority, right? And as the speaker of the Vedas, and revealing this truth, because at the moment, Shishi Radharatna Taki Jai. Because at this moment we are doing the Rudra Gita in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and here Lord Shiva is speaking. So, and he made a point that actually there are three aspects that makes him authoritative. And one is that he is the greatest Vaishnava, right? Vaishnavanam Yada Shambhu. He's the greatest Vaishnava. Secondly, is that he is the head of one sampradaya, the Rudra sampradaya, like that, and he's so like this. So we find that in this way that he is authoritative to reveal the Vedas, and here now he's revealing the Vedas in this Rudra Gita, right? So so in this way, we should approach the spiritual master in our line, which is the Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya line, in order to accept transcendental knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna basically, right? And we find, okay, let's just go on reading, and before we comment further. So there are different grades and standards of prosperity. The standard of comfort and happiness conceived by a common man engaged in material labor is the lowest grade of happiness, for it is in relationship with the body. The highest standard of such bodily comfort is achieved by a fruitive worker who by pious activities reaches the plane of heaven, or the kingdom of the creative gods with their delegated powers. But the conception of comfortable life in heaven is insignificant in comparison to the happiness enjoyed in the impersonal Brahman. And this Brahmanda, the spiritual bliss derived from the impersonal Brahman, is like the water in the hoof print of a calf compared to the ocean of love of Godhead. When one develops pure love for the Lord, he derives an ocean of transcendental happiness from the association of the personality of Godhead. To qualify oneself to reach this stage of life is the highest perfection. So the other point that I wanted to make was that Prabhupada, in this paragraph, he is saying that there's different grades of happiness. And the first grade of happiness is achieved by enjoying the bodily senses, basically, and the bodily comforts of life. So this is the first grade of happiness. And we see in the Srimad Bhagavatam also in the following chapters to come, in chapter 4, we see the story of Puranjana and how he was enjoying on the bodily platform. So the story of the Puranjana goes as follows, that Puranjana was he was this personality that he where he was roaming and, just wandering around, and his friend, with his friend called Avigyatan. So they both were wandering around, and Puranjana, he came upon this beautiful place. It's described at the foothill of the Himalayas, and it's called Navadwaram, like this. And he was so enchanted with this place that he went to see what was it all about. And when he went there, he found this beautiful lady, right? Her name was Puranjini. So this is an allegorical story, and Puranjani had, following Puranjani was these 5 serpents, 5 hooded serpents, and and accompanying the 5 hooded serpents were 11 soldiers or 11 bodyguards, like this. So they came to meet Puranjana, and Puranjana became so captivated by this woman that he eventually married her, and he tried to enjoy with her as much as possible, right? And then on the other hand, we have this other personality. So called Durbagai, and she approached Narad Muni, right? And she wanted to marry Narad Muni, but Narad Muni, we know that he's, a brahmachari and he's preaching all over. So Narad Muni refused her proposal, and in this way, Durbagai then approached Chandavega. He accepted her, but he did not marry her, and he just kept her with him, and he did not marry her. So together with Chandravegan comes his father Kalyan and brother Prajvan and the soldier known as Bhayan. So basically all these are representing something, right? And we find that the city, the Navadwaram, actually the city of 9 gates, represents his body, right? Puranjana, he represents the soul, and Puranjani represents the intelligence. He married Puranjani, he represents the intelligence, and the city of 9 gates is his body, which has the 5 sensory organs and the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, basically, and that's 10 and 11 is the mind, right? So in this way, this is a city of 9 gates, and the beautiful woman was Puranjani, which is compared to the intelligence. The 5 hooded serpents are the 5 senses, like this, and the 11 the 11 bodyguards are mentioned, and then we find that Avigyatan, he represents the super soul, the Lord that's accompanying us, right? So remember I told you that Puranjana, he had a friend, and he was traveling around the world with his friend, and when he came to this city of 9 gates, basically the city Navadwaram, he abandoned his friend and he married Puranjani. So like that, we find that the living entity enters the body, the city of 9 gates, and then he enjoys to the max. And eventually when Chandavegan represents old age, and Durbagai represents old age, because nobody likes old age. Everybody wants to be young forever, right? And we find that there's so many industries now that's promoting cosmetics and different things for the human being to stay younger, But the body will definitely die at some stage, but the soul is forever eternal, and that is why we have this concept that we don't want to die, because the soul is eternal, right? And the soul doesn't die. So in this way, I was saying there's these different industries that's promoting, advertising on how we can remain young forever by, cosmetic surgery maybe, or, by using cosmetics and different things just to keep our bodies fit and young. So we find that with old age, our teeth will fall down, and then they came with a plan to have false teeth. So in this way we can, not lose our beauty, right? And then the hearing goes, and then there's hearing aids, and so there's so many things that to counteract the deterioration of this body. But we see in time that death will come and it'll take us, right? So, or it'll get rid of this body. So in this way, we should not put too much emphasis on the bodily platform of life, but we should try to transcend this material life by worshipping the spiritual, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and in this way approach the spiritual master as it was stated previously, and gain transcendental knowledge from him, and in this way we can surpass this bodily concept of life. So so I was saying, and then Puranjana, so when these Chandavega attacked, he came with all his, entourage basically. He came with his father, who was Kalyana, and so in this way, the time factor, right, that will actually deteriorate everything in this world, right, and Prajvan is said to be fever, right, or disease that enters the body. So in this way, Chandavega, he entered with all these personalities, and he burnt down the city of Navadwaram with fire, right? The fever, basically. He burnt down the body, and in this way, Puranjana, when he died, he was thinking of his wife, and he became a woman. So this will be very, very elaborately explained in the following chapters that we are doing on in the Srimad Bhagavatam classes every morning. And there's, I think, like 5 chapters dedicated to Puranjana itself. And I'm just giving you the gist of it, but we'll study more about this in the following chapters to come. So now we are on Caitanya Charitamrta, and I just thought to bring this in because this purport is actually referring to all of these aspects that we are talking about, and Prabhupada is making all these points, right? So then we go on reading, and Prabhupada says that one should try to purchase a ticket to go back home, back to Godhead. The price of such ticket is one's intense desire for it, which is not easily awakened, even if one continuously performs pious activities for thousands of lives. All mundane relationships are sure to be broken in the course of time. But once one establishes a relationship with the personality of Godhead in a particular rasa, it is never to be broken, even after the annihilation of the material world. So yes, so we find that we have different relationships in this world, father, mother, siblings, right? Then we get married, we have our spouses, and we become attached, but all these are temporary, and they're here for us some time, right? And eventually, they will have to leave their bodies at some stage as well. So we cannot actually gain true happiness from these, Prabhupada says, fallible soldiers, right? But we put our whole life into these personalities just to gain some temporary happiness. And Prabhupada says that actually, as he's mentioning here, that, all these relationships are temporary. They're just here for this lifetime. But we've been through millions and millions of lifetimes in this world, and we have so many fathers and so many mothers and so many spouses and so many siblings, and children like this. So it's not just only this lifetime. So if we have to look at it from a broader spectrum, we have to look at this whole thing. Right, and we are just here in this lifetime, and we take everything, this one life to be all in all. But no, we've had so many other lives previously, and so many other relationships previously, and now we have forgotten it. And when we go on to our next body, we'll forget this relationship. So it's temporary. But if we establish our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, then that will go on eternally, right? And Krishna because he's accompanying us through all these bodies that we've been through. Krishna is accompanying us as a super soul within the heart. He's a witness and the overseer. Upadrasta anumantascha. He is within the heart, together with the soul, is a super soul, and he's witnessing all our activities, and and that's how we get our dues, right? Whatever's due to us will come like this. So in this way, when we establish our relationship with the Supreme Lord, then we can forget about this samsara, the cycle of birth and death, because then we're actually connecting to the spiritual world, which is eternal, and no more birth, death, disease, and old age in this material world. So we should try to approach a spiritual master and gain transcendental knowledge. So Prabhupada goes on to say, one should understand through the transparent medium of the spiritual master that the Supreme Lord exists everywhere in his transcendental spiritual nature, and that the living entity's relationship with the Lord are directly and indirectly existing everywhere. Even in this material world. In the spiritual world, there are 5 kinds of relationships with the Supreme Lord: Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. The perverted reflections of these rasas are found in the material world. Land, home, furniture, and other inert material objects are related to in Shanta, or the neutral and silent sense. Whereas servants work in the Dasya relationship, this reciprocation between friends in this is called Sakya. The affection of a parent for a child is known as Vatsalya, and the affairs of conjugal love constitute Madhurya. These 5 relationships in the material world are distorted reflections of the original pure sentiments, which should be understood and perfected in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. In the material world, the perverted rasas being frustration, if the rasas are established with Lord Krishna, the result is eternal, blissful life. So Prabhupada is mentioning that all these rasas exist in the material world, right? And he is giving us examples of Dasya ras, of the servant and master, right? Of Shanta ras, of objects around us, right? Of Sakya, friendships. We also have friends in this world, right? Vatsalya, parentalhood, and conjugal relationships, Madhurya. So this is also here it is in the perverted reflection. It's a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. In the spiritual world it exists also, but in its pure form. Here it's very temporary. Everything is temporary in this material world. So we'll just speak about these rasas quickly. In the spiritual world, one can have a relationship with Krishna as a friend, you can be a friend to Krishna. So it all depends on how you actually approach Krishna. And in time, we don't know what our rasas are, but in time, by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, purifying the heart, we'll be able to know what our rasas are in the spiritual world. And so these rasas are there as a friendship, as a friend. You can be a friend to Krishna, like when Krishna was here on this planet 5,000 years ago, then he had these different relationships, and he had these cowherd boys who would play with him. Right, and they'd play different games. Like in this material world, we have cricket, right? But in the spiritual world, it's called guli danda, right? You may have heard of this. It's, it's like, you hit the gili basically, and you smack it away. So basically, this is gili danda. So in this way, there's many different games that Krishna plays with his friends, right? So we just mention some of them, these relationships, and then we have Krishna with his parents, Mother Yashoda, and we know that Mother Yashoda, she basically. She has this loving relationship with Krishna. With Krishna is basically a subordinate to her. He becomes subordinate to her in that, when he's doing anything that's out of place, like stealing butter, then, Mother Yashoda chastises him. So in this way, because she has this motherly affection towards him, then Krishna becomes her child. Ye yata mam prapajante tams tateva bhajamyaham. In the way that a devotee loves me, I reciprocate with him in that way. So all these relationships are there, right? And then there's also of conjugal love with the gopis, and we find that there's, Krishna has relationships with the gopis, and they are the best devotees, basically, right? And in this way, he has intimate pastimes with them. So we'll just relate a short, try to make it short, pastime with Krishna and gopis, Radharani, like this. So I was listening to a class recently by my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Interdimna Swami, and he gives us these very esoteric pastimes about the residents of Vrindavan, and he was saying that once Radharani, so this is Radharani basically is not different from Krishna, right? She and Krishna are one and the same, and you cannot separate them. But we find that there's Jatila and Kutila who always try to separate Radha and Krishna, but they cannot be separated. Prabhupada gives the analogy of musk. Musk cannot be separated from its scent. So similarly, Radha and Krishna cannot be separated, and because they are one, right? But just for pastime's sake, they expand as two, right? Radha and Krishna, but they're actually one. And in this way, so once Radharani's mother-in-law, she says we should just keep Krishna away from Radharani, and she is not going to go out to do her Surya Puja, so she should just stay, she should stay put in the house, not going outside. So, to meet Krishna, because they know that when Radharani goes, she'll meet Krishna, so she should just stay inside. So Radharani then, because she was in so much of separation from Krishna, she developed a high fever, and in this way, she told Kutila that I have a snake bite, and I cannot go anyway. I'm like just in one room, right? And she cannot go anyway. So, and she had this fever. So they said, what to do to actually mitigate her problem? We should get a snake doctor. But Radharani said, no, but if you get a snake doctor, I want a female snake doctor, because I don't want any male to touch me, because I'm so chaste, and only my husband should be able to touch me. So in this way, they went out to find a snake doctor, and disguised as a snake doctor, female snake doctor, they approached him, and he says, and they asked him, like, please, can you come and attend to my daughter-in-law, because she has been bitten by a snake, and and she wants a female doctor. So Krishna said, I'll think about it, I don't think that I'm available, but I will think about it and let you know. Then they pleaded with Krishna, no, you have to come, because my daughter-in-law is going to die of the snake bite. Please come. So eventually Krishna goes, and he attends to Radharani, and he says, I don't want anyone to come. We need to lock the door. I don't want anyone to come in, because this is a very serious, she's in a very serious condition. So in this way, Radha and Krishna had their pastimes together like this, and eventually, we find that we also, as devotees, we are always trying to bring Radha and Krishna together, in that we are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The Hare represents Radharani, right? And Krishna, that's one name for Krishna, the all-attractive personality of Godhead. And Rama means Krishna as well, the one who gives us the most pleasure, or the embodiment of pleasure. So in this way, there's Radha and Krishna, right? Radha with Krishna, and Radha Rama. Rama means Krishna as well. Rama, the one who is the reservoir of all pleasure. So in this way, when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are bringing Radha and Krishna together always, right? And when Radha and Krishna is separate, then we feel saddened about this, because Radha is non-different from Krishna, and Krishna is non-different from Radharani. So in this way, we understand that this whole movement that Prabhupada has established is for us to engage in the service of Radha and Krishna. Hare Krishna. I have 2 minutes. I'll stop here. If anyone has any comments or like to make a commentary, you're most welcome to. Hare Krishna. Yes, sure. Say something.
Hare Krishna. I'm not sure if I can ask the question in this context, because there's Facebook. It's about Radha Krishna. Mm-hmm. You think I can?
We have a senior devotee here. Maybe he'll answer it for you. You can ask in the mic. It's fine.
So Radha has a husband. That's what I was told. And Krishna, it's like from a rational point of view, it's not kosher. And people might not understand this. Maybe it's esoteric and beyond rational understanding. But maybe if you can say something about this matter.
Ram Vijay Prabhu, you can answer that.
Hare Krishna. So I remember the relationships we have in the material world are given as by the Lord Himself what is moral and what is kosher, as you put it. Those rules are given by the Lord Himself. And based on those principles, we live within this material world. In the spiritual world, so the one principle we have to understand is that the Lord Himself, whatever He does, is the definition of kosher, as you put it. Whatever He does. So it will be difficult to evaluate His activities through the lens of the principles that govern our activities in the material world. So that's the first principle. And then secondly, even in the spiritual world, remember that the Lord is the supreme enjoyer. He is the husband of everyone. He's the husband of everyone anyway. So in that context also, there's nothing unkosher about Him enjoying anybody. And everybody is His property, in a sense. So in that sense, He is the husband of everyone. So there's no problem like that. Also, that relationship between Srimati Radharani and her husband is described as the shadow of Krishna. It's like he's not really there. It's like he's really a husband. He's there to enhance that mood of Krishna's meeting Radharani. That's the purpose of his existence. It's like to enhance the relationship of Srimati Radharani and Krishna and to heighten the emotions. That situation is there. It would be a little less exciting if Srimati Radharani and Krishna were husband and wife, and every morning they'll just say, "Good morning, I love you. Good morning, I love you." It will kind of saturate at a certain point. So these arrangements are made to enhance the emotions and the rasa. So that's why it's there. Everything's there for that purpose. So it's hard. We can't apply the principles of morality that we are used to here to those experiences, because that's designed around the pleasure of the Lord and His devotees. That whole circumstance is there. So in a nutshell, I'm trying to share. I hope that helps verify.
I'll just say something else. So everything in this material world, animate or inanimate, as given in the Sri Upanishad, belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? Isha vasham idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tiktyena bunjinta madgrida kashya svidanam. That everything animate and inanimate within this world belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And we should use those things that are set aside as a quota for His pleasure. Right? So we all belong to Krishna. Right? And Krishna is in the heart of every living entity. And we have different relationships with Krishna. And we decide to have a relationship, or if our rasa in the spiritual world is that of conjugal love, Krishna is within the heart. And if he just jumps out of the heart and becomes our husband or becomes our lover, then, what's wrong with that? Because everything all of us belong to Krishna anyway. And Krishna, as Prabhu was mentioning, that He is enjoyer of everyone and everything in this world. Right? He is enjoyer. So therefore we should dovetail all our activities and everything for the service of Krishna. Like that. So, and as Prabhu was saying, that, Abhimanyu, her husband, is just there. He's just there. He doesn't really do anything. He's just there as, and it is described in scripture that he's the shadow potency of Krishna. Now, there's no substance in shadow. In a shadow, you have a shadow as well. There's no substance in it, right? And so similarly, there's no substance in the relationship with Abhimanyu and Radharani. There's nothing. But the real relationship is with Krishna. Similarly, our real relationship is with Krishna and is not of the relationships of this world. We have our spouses, right? We'll say this is like a conjugal relationship, our spouses. But actually, basically our spouses have actually stolen us away from Krishna and made us theirs in one sense, right? They say, my husband, my wife, my this, my children. Nothing belongs to us. Nothing belongs to us. Everything belongs to Krishna, right? So nothing is ours in this material world. Nothing, right? So everything belongs to the Supreme Lord, Krishna. And Radharani is non-different from Krishna. They're one and the same, you know. So just for pastime's sake, they are separated. But actually, you know, just to give some, as Prabhu was saying, just to give some more excitement to the pastimes that all these arrangements take place. Yet people of this mundane world cannot understand it because they do not have transcendental knowledge. And to have this transcendental knowledge, you have to hear from authorities like this. And that, therefore, Prabhupada is mentioning here that we should surrender to the spiritual master. And when we surrender like this, we'll gain transcendental knowledge to understand higher subject matters that we cannot conceive of in this material world. Right? So, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much. When you were talking, I thought about the movie Superman. When I was a kid, I used to watch Superman, and there was Lois, the girlfriend or lover of Superman, and there's Clark Kent. So it's like Superman as a regular person, and this identity of Superman is concealed in Clark Kent. But I was thinking it's like that, you know, the what is the word? Protagonist of the movie is Superman. No one thinks too much about Clark Kent. He doesn't feel abused. It's just like a role, like you were talking about the shadow thing. So I thought that's a nice way for people that are not very smart like myself to understand complex reality. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Grancha Srimad Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.